Hey everyone, my name is Blake Cadwell. I am the CEO and co-founder at Soundly.com, and I'm really excited to have Dr. Amy Sarow here with me. We're going to talk about Costco hearing aids. Share a little bit of my own experience going to Costco as a hearing aid wearer, and get some perspective from Dr. Amy about some of the considerations that folks should have in mind as they think about Costco. But Dr. Amy, I'll pitch it over to you if you'd like to introduce yourself and share with us a little bit more about you.
Sure. Thanks, Blake. I am Amy Sarow. I'm an audiologist based in Michigan. And in addition to my clinical work, I also do promotion of hearing loss awareness, and I'm a Forbes Health Advisory Board member.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. So for anyone who doesn't know about the kind of Costco hearing centers and the hearing aid offering, I'll give you a very quick summary. And this is something I've tried multiple times. And really, I was just sharing with Dr. Amy that Costco is where I got my first ever hearing test after years of hearing loss, and eventually got hearing aids, not at Costco, but elsewhere. So the Costco offering is pretty simple. For members, you have to be a member at the club, but if you are a member, you can get a free hearing test at one of their hearing centers, which are in most of their locations around the country. You can then purchase hearing aids from Costco at typically reduced prices. So you're going to pay less at Costco than you would at a local hearing clinic. Now, there are some drawbacks and some things to consider. But that's typically how it works. Now, it's important to note that Costco does not make their own hearing aids. There's not a Costco hearing aid, even though they do white label a product from another manufacturer. All of the products at Costco are made by some of the biggest manufacturers in the world, brought in typically under different brand names or maybe white labeled and sold at a somewhat lower price. So what I want to focus on in this video is really some of the considerations that you should have in mind if you're thinking about going to Costco or purchasing hearing aids through Costco. So Dr. Amy, we'll turn it over to you. What are some of the things you think about as, when you're speaking to a patient or speaking to friends and family about the option of going to Costco for hearing aids?
So I think with Costco, and personally, I've seen both good and bad with Costco. I think that it is an option, especially if somebody is more budget constrained, it's something they can consider. Some things to think about. So when you go to Costco, you won't always be seen by an audiologist. You may be seen by another professional. Typically, you're also not going to see the same person each time you return. So if you're looking, to have that personal relationship with the person who's fitting your hearing aids, you're probably not going to get that at Costco. So those are just some things to consider.
Yeah. So typically the professionals, or many times the professionals, are hearing instrument specialists, if I understand correctly, and often would have significantly less training than a doctor of audiology, which Dr. Amy, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think it's 8 years of education for most folks that are doctors of audiology. So a lot, extensive training.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so if you are someone with, certain middle ear conditions or other types of more complex ear disorders or hearing losses, that's probably going to be best left to a professional who's more trained in those types of hearing losses and how to best treat them. So yes, yeah, that's something else to consider as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, to speak to products for a moment, I know there are currently some changes that are happening at Costco around which products are available, but typically Costco offers some of the leading brands, not all of them, but some of the leading brands. In your opinion, are these products of similar quality to what you would find out in the rest of the market? Is it really just come down to the difference in care, or are there other things you've noticed about the products that are for sale at Costco?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. So I know, as you mentioned, certain products will be leaving Costco, and there's sort of different offerings at different times. Typically, in my experience, the products are similar to, current existing models offered in a professional hearing aid clinic, but they may not be the very latest technology. They might be, one generation older. They may not have all of the features that, what you may get at another hearing aid clinic. That being said, again, if somebody is budget constrained, if they have a more simple lifestyle, quieter lifestyle, maybe that's going to still work okay for them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, a lot to think about for folks. We'll link my full review of Costco's process. So if you're curious about how that all works, we'll link that in the video notes here. But the last thing I want to leave you with is just to give everybody a sense of just the lay of the landscape. If you're looking for hearing aids, there are typically three main paths that you can take. One is the prescription route. The most common route to take within getting a prescription hearing aid is to see a doctor of audiology, like Dr. Amy would be, or someone in your local community. Typically, that's going to bring the highest level of customization and personalized care. Costco kind of sits as a subset of that. It's still a prescription hearing aid. It's just prescribed through a hearing instrument specialist at your local Costco store. There are also direct-to-consumer brands, which typically provide care through telehealth. And then there are over-the-counter hearing aids, which are typically less expensive, have less bells and whistles, and are customized by someone at home using a smartphone app typically. So those are some of the options you can think about. If you want to research your hearing aid options more, you can go to soundly.com. We have lots of blog articles about just about every topic, and you can compare products side by side to see which ones might be right for you. So thank you, Dr. Amy, for your time. And to you, the viewer, good luck with your search.